All right, let's go into the weather section here. Earlier today, we had severe thunderstorms and heavy rain across parts of Kansas. The storms came through 8 a.m. this morning, 70-mile-an-hour wind, ping-pong size hail. We had some flooding as well, several inches of rain. I think we had around 3 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Just part of what we had to wake up to today here across the Midwest. Thank you, Caress, for that lovely commercial. All right, somebody paid the bills. And this was also storm surge. Now, we'll talk more about the storm surge, right? Parts of New Orleans is already flooded today, before the storm's even here. There's quite a lot of water in the streets of New Orleans on Wednesday morning thanks to intense thunderstorms that prompted the National Weather Service to issue a flash flood emergency. They're already in a state of emergency right now. This guy's got it together here. He's got a canoe. This guy shouldn't even be driving, to be honest. But look at the rain already. Look at the water accumulation. And folks, we're not even... this is not from the storm yet. This is just thunderstorm activity that's around this system. It says here, those scenes offer a preview to what's to come later this week when a tropical depression projected to turn into Hurricane Barry makes landfall on the Louisiana coast as a Category 1, dropping as much as 2 feet of rain on some parts of the state. Finally, somebody's admitting that we are going to get clobbered here with rain. Because what I was watching earlier today on that cable weather channel, they're talking about 5 to 8 inches of rain in the next 7 days. And really, I feel like they're kind of half-assing this forecast, to be honest with you. I'm going to say it right now. Let's not wait for Katrina-like conditions to develop. I think tonight's 11 o'clock report is going to mean a lot. If this storm shifts back a little bit further to the east, that means the eastern part, the worst part of this hurricane is going to go right over New Orleans. Let's go right into the GFS and talk about where they've got this storm lined up. And I think in the coming hours, we'll see where this storm is tracking. Let's move this up a little bit. So here we are early tomorrow morning. The storm is getting its act together a little bit more according to the GFS. And I'm going to go with the GFS because it's always the lighter one. But the GFS forecast is a little more impressive than I thought it would be. By Friday, this system is getting stronger and getting its act together even more as it begins to drop its pressure. And this thing kind of wobbles back and forth. And folks, I got to tell you something. I'm going to go back a couple clicks. This is Saturday. 1 step forward, 1 step back, and then this thing really intensifies on Saturday. Pressure dropping to 983. I think we get to 986 right here. This is the latest GFS reported forecast. Let's zoom in. This is for Sunday. What did I say? The worst part of this storm is going to be right in the New Orleans area. And already seeing storm surge. We've had 8 inches of rain today. Again, I feel like this is on Sunday still. So we start to see some major rains from this storm probably on Saturday around New Orleans. This thing really gets a churning in the ocean Friday. And then Saturday, really, we have a hurricane. More than likely, we have a Cat 1 right here at this point on the 13th. Lots of rain from Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. That'll continue into Sunday. Am I looking at this right? My eyes playing tricks. Okay, good. That was just a high pressure. Thought I saw snow in Colorado. So here we are Sunday. Lots of rain coming down. Slow-moving storm. Makes landfall. The eastern part of this right now is right over New Orleans. They're already flooded. This thing kind of hangs around for a little bit, finally moves out a little bit Sunday overnight into Monday morning, and that's when the storm really begins to weaken. But most of Mississippi, now look at this low pressure system, kind of just right in the Mississippi River as it arrives landfall. Look at that. Starts at the mouth, moves up north. Still lots of heavy rain in the area. By Monday, this thing is just now lots of thunderstorms and tropical moisture still hanging around through Mississippi on Tuesday. And this storm finally, I think it attempts to leave our United States around the 17th. This high pressure is pushed off into the ocean. Tropical moisture still across the eastern part of the United States. And finally, that storm is long gone by July 18th. But the problem that remains here for us in this region is not just these next couple of days with this storm. But let's fast forward here to Louisiana. Let's take a look at your rain chances. So the 15th, you're raining. 16th, you're raining. 17th, we're still got rain. A little bit of a break, but there's a high pressure system out here just off the Carolinas into the Atlantic, and that's what's driving this rain almost like a conveyor belt. Here we are on the 18th, more scattered rain showers. A little bit of a dry spell, but then more rain showers again that evening on the 19th going into the 20th. High pressure finally moves way out into the Atlantic on July 20th. We begin to dry out from New Orleans before the 21st into the 22nd. More rain develops from this low pressure system that's being fired off of the East Coast. Meanwhile, there's another high pressure system trying to settle over the Midwest, which will grab a hold of this moisture and just spin it around again in this conveyor belt. As you guys can see, New Orleans is still raining. And finally, by the 23rd of July, a little bit of relief. Nope. More scattered showers to the region. 24th. Along the coast through the 24th into the 25th of July. And more rain scheduled for the 26th. So what is driving all this moisture? And it's kind of simple. And I'll go back fast. I'll reverse it here a little bit. So we have this area of high pressure right here that will continue to move. Oops. No. That will continue to move right in here. Kind of just settle. Meanwhile, all this moisture right here, this high, will continue to pull a spinning motion, dragging this moisture in this direction. And that's why we're seeing this rain developing from the Gulf, moving towards inland. And what I mean by that is if you look here on the 23rd, you've got moisture up here, but as we move forward to the 24th, that stuff gets pushed up this way. That's because this high pressure system is camped up over here, now moving the conveyor belt this way. All right, and as you see, when this high pressure system does go out into the Atlantic, this low is what's chasing it out. And by the time we have this low pressure system moving out to sea, we have another high that's going to try to settle again in the Midwest. So really what I'm trying to say here is that this pattern is going to continue to repeat itself every time a low pressure system pushes through. And what concerns me here at the end of the month, on the 26th, here's that low pressure system I was telling you about that's being pushed off to the East Coast. And another high pressure system will move down into this region once again, creating probably another conveyor belt of moisture in the northern Great Lakes into New York, Pennsylvania. On the backside, you're probably looking Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. So a little bit of a somewhat of a dry spell here for you folks. Scattered showers now, but for the most part, when these high pressure systems are settling in, this is where you're going to have the most driest weather. So let's take it back here. Here's our storm. Louisiana, you're just inundated with rain from here on out. You get a couple days of a break before these high pressure systems take over. And the reason why this one here is being pushed out, basically, so here's another problem we have too. I forgot to mention this, but we've got high pressure here in Kentucky and Tennessee, and that's really the reason why this storm is not moving out as fast as it should be. It's being kind of blocked, so to speak, by this high pressure. So this could actually increase the rain totals from this storm as well. It just depends on how quickly that high pressure system moves out into the Atlantic. But once we get past this hurricane, July 16th, 17th, or even just tropical storm, we get that little bit of a break. That high pressure system is pushed out to sea. A large batch of showers comes through with a low pressure system. And then here comes another high pressure diving across the Central Plains before it pushes the low off, which, by the way, folks, we're expecting a lot of rain here in the Northeast, in the Ohio Valley, and the upper Great Lakes. Our turn is coming here towards July 18th to the 20th. Lots of heavy precipitation coming to this part of the country. And so far, July could be the 4th month in a row to break the all-time wet record, because not only are we going to get a ton of rain down south, we're going to get a ton of rain in the Northeast and really along the Gulf Coast with those high pressure systems that continue to come in and just camp right here, allowing this stuff to just spin around this high pressure system. This high pressure system is dragging in the moisture, spinning it around, keeping New Orleans wet. And a little concerning. So, lots of rain. The pattern is not going to let up. Good chance that we're going to see our 4th month in a row breaking all-time highs. But right now, we need to focus on this storm down here in the Gulf. And I got to be honest with you guys, I don't normally do this. I guess we should wait till the 11 o'clock report. But if this 11 o'clock update has our hurricane, and I do believe we will see a hurricane out of this, but if it has our hurricane right here, somewhere in this area where we see the eye coming in right here, in the eastern part of that storm with the moisture is predicted, I mean, we could see some record flooding once again in the same area that Katrina delivered the record flooding. And it also just depends on how fast this high pressure system gets out of the way. And right now, this high pressure system is holding this moisture in place in the south and in Louisiana. So this could be a potentially dangerous situation if it isn't already, of course. Some are saying a max of 2 feet of rain. This could be a lot higher. Remember with Harvey, people were saying that too in the beginning. But each day as the forecast became closer to the actual date, that rain increased as well. Now it's already Wednesday. You know, tomorrow morning, I think, should be the decision whether or not folks should be leaving. You wait for this 11 o'clock update. You see what they're going to say. Is it going to be a Cat 1 or a Cat 2? And if it's sticking along the lines that it has been right now, because GFS wasn't showing this, kudos to the Euro model. The Euro model was showing this the whole time. So if this continues to get worse, like the GFS is showing on a day-by-day basis, I mean, this could be pretty significant flooding event down here. Forget about storm surge and wind force. We're talking about lots of moisture being dropped here in New Orleans, possibly causing more catastrophic flooding. So instead of waiting around and making the same mistake that we've made for Katrina, hopefully the people in our government make the right decisions to evacuate. The sooner the better. We don't want a repeat of Katrina. No way. And with the advanced technology that we have now compared to 2005, warnings should be put out a lot earlier than what happened last time. Again, we can learn from the past. And that's what this Grand Solar Minimum channel is all about. We're learning from our historical data. Same thing goes with these weather events. We've seen these types of storms before. Let's act now. And I hope by tomorrow morning, if this storm continues to intensify, we will see the proper evacuations being issued, because at this rate, with the amount of rain that's going to be falling, yes, it looks like the brunt of this is going to happen on Saturday and Sunday, but let's not wait until the last possible moment again, is my advice. All right, let's take a look at now temperatures. We know we already went over those. They're going to be pretty decent for July here in the U.S. Definitely summer-like temperatures, a little bit cooler in the middle of the month. Here's a look at Canada. You guys also getting your share of moisture in the north, well, I should say the southwest for you guys. The northwest part here for us. Mari, I'm going to invite you over. See if you can say hello to everybody and Give some shout outs to the chat. I'm sure everyone's been well behaved with Miss Mari there.
Oh, everyone's always well behaved, Jake.
Just say it like that. Good Lord.
Who would ever be disruptive in our chat? Come on.
Who knows?
First off, I would like to say hello to Matthew Bros, our new mod.
Well, that's right. Matthew, congratulations, young man. Matthew is a good friend of ours here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Lots of insight on farming. It's much appreciated, and we'd like to welcome you.
I think he's our first farmer mod.
He is.
So that's cool.
Yes, it is, actually.
He did a super chat. Yeah, stop that.
Yeah, put it.
You got a t-shirt on the way anyway. So he says that he is wet in Nebraska. Even a half-inch of rain makes things muddy and water runs, making ditches. Everything is still very saturated, flooding in parts of Nebraska. So, but I've heard some positive things about stuff going on in Nebraska as well. So, you know, it's not all doom and gloom, right, Jake?
Not yet.
Let's see what else we got here.
A lot of wait and see, I can tell you that right now.
It really is. I'm very on edge about this early frost rumor that's going on. It's just, I have it like in the bottom of my gut. I feel like bad about it.
Well, even that agriculture article.
And just seeing how things are unfolding, it's like, eesh.
It talks about early autumn freezes and late spring freezes.
More and more pictures of people sending us empty shelves of vegetables, like in the shop, like in stores. It's like, eesh. I can only imagine what the future holds. Richard Davidson says we are having problems with telegraph weed invading the hayfields. Hasn't been seen there in 60 years.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? But then he goes on to say, and he makes me laugh, he put telegraph weeds are primarily a Californian plant. I guess it's getting so bad in California, even the weeds are leaving.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm a former California transplant, so I laugh. I kid. I think that's funny. Tugta, her husband is in Houma, Louisiana, said they had 7 inches of rain in 45 minutes.
What?
No wonder New Orleans is flooded. Yeah, I gotta research that.
And
like,
look,
it's just like
that's the problem, Mari. The mainstream's not gonna report this stuff.
Well, all right. If you go on our Twitter feed and look at what people are sharing on social media already with the storm surge, what's going on there, I was shocked that Weather Channel didn't even show it.
Nope, didn't talk about it. Nothing.
Why not?
I'm telling you, and you said a bad word, but they were downplaying this so bad, it just made me feel like that I could just go ahead and flip on the evening news and not worry about anything, folks.
We have Fishing Magician from Lake Luzerne.
Yes, Fishing Magician. I met him a few days ago, last week. Hello, fine sir. He is also a YouTuber. He has a channel, and he was actually how I met this guy was through... he was looking for some surveillance cameras. He wants to have a camera in an eagle's nest, and he knows where a golden eagle's nest is here in the mountains, the Adirondack area.
Eagles are thriving right now in this area.
So he's a guy that's in touch with nature, fishing, and so I welcomed him to our channel. I told him about our channel and everything.
Cool.
So nice for you to stop by, sir.
Welcome aboard, Fishing Magician. Jeff Borders says all truth goes through phases. First it's ridiculed, next it's violently rejected, and finally it's accepted as self-evident. So true.
Yep.
That stuck out like a sore thumb. I was like, damn, he's right. That's like so spot on right there. Andy visited home in southwestern Wisconsin last weekend. He couldn't believe the number of fields laying fallow, and what's planted is scrappy and small. So not good news, but we know Wisconsin farms, out of all the states in America, it seems like Wisconsin's taken like a huge hit when I've looked at numbers of farms just up and closing up shop completely, giving up. So sad. Let's see what else. John is in the chat. He's lost 50% of his corn, and he's from Kentucky. Let's see what else we got here. I know I got a couple more.
Camille is in here, huh? Hello, Camille. Camille Hartman.
Oh, okay. So I haven't checked the live chat in a bit, so you can give some shout outs there, Jake.
Hello, Camille. Thank you for watching our program. It is actually kind of awesome that you're here, so thank you.
Yeah, I think her husband messaged us about possibly interviewing him about astrology, astromet kind of information regarding GSM. Always fascinating to follow the astromet people who do the forecasting.
She says hi from La La Land.
I don't envy you in your vacation right now. I used to live in...
Can you take a vacation for a little bit? Maybe get out of that area for a few weeks?
Right straight to Vegas.
Yeah.
No, I used to live in Glendale, California, and I'm such a wuss with earthquakes. I just couldn't deal. So, all right. So let's see what else we got going in the chat here. Any chance? Oh, someone wanted you to check Alaska temperatures, Jake. I don't know. Sometimes, do we have a regular show night where we cover like?
We could throw that in. We could throw that in. I know there's a heat wave.
Alaska,
people are talking about how warm it's going to be in Alaska, and I get that. We'll check those temperatures. We're not trying to ignore any kind of heat or anything like that. There's just so much other things to cover, and I want to make this mention as well. With grand solar minimums, previous records. We've seen periods of really hot weather in Alaska, so this is not uncommon. I think a lot of people get the grand solar minimum confused with ice age and that everyone's frozen, but it's regional. There are areas that still see warmth, and there are areas that see a lot colder winters. So again, that's something we can really dive in. Maybe we should dedicate a show, maybe get somebody on to kind of talk about temperatures in the Northwest during grand solar minimums.
Yeah, I mean, even just an open discussion one of these nights we should do, because it is a regional effect. Climate varies depending on where you are. If you look back in history, I actually shared our Maunder Minimum link tonight in the chat so people could see the historical record of what happened back in the 1600s. So, and that's something I'm trying to slowly but surely add to the website, are these tidbits of historical information so you can look back and see what people were doing. A lot of people don't realize the history that aligns with these grand solar minimums. It's absolutely fascinating. So I highly encourage you to just sort of explore on our website. The Maunder minimum probably is the most in depth right now, and I'm going to be working on the Dalton minimum after I finish the Maunder minimum. So, tell me what you think, and, send me some information if you want it added to the site. I'm always seeking out neat historical tidbits. That's all I got, Jake. There's so much going on in chat. I did my best.
You did a great job tonight.
I could.
You did a great job.
I have my little notepad, taking notes. So, hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to spend this time with you. And nobody seems to mind the anonymous titles. I just said we can't even put a title on these videos. Otherwise, the Al Gore rhythms.
Algorithms.
The algorithms.
That's what it is. It's
I swear it is.
Look, he invented the internet.
He did.
So if he invented the internet, he invented the algorithm.
All
right.
All right. Well, anyway, you guys get the hint. Lack of title certainly doesn't keep you guys from coming to our channel, so thank you.
We appreciate the support.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Make sure you check out if you're not a Patreon member, become one. For as little as $1, really, guys. We're not asking for the big bucks, but a little bit of donation keeps content flowing here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel on our website, and also Patreon. We're going to start putting more content, but we do have a podcast with a podcast called Moving Iron, and it's usually farm talk, agriculture, and all that. But he brought us on to talk about Grand Solar Minimum, and we really kind of gave a really vague, basic description on what's happening, what's going to happen, and just what's to come in the future. It's a 41-minute interview. Really, these kinds of talks, we need about 2 hours, but we did it as best as we could to jam-pack as much information as we could. Again, that interview is on our Patreon channel. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook as well. Until next time, it's going to be Friday night, 9 p.m., And stay tuned for our latest solar updates as well. And if there's any more information about the volcano/earthquake situation in Southern California, we will be sure to break in and report on it. Until next time, we will talk soon, guys. Take care.